Hello, Geminis. This is Queen Amun Ra coming to you with your general reading. Hopefully, you all are having a good weekend, Geminis. Yeah, hopefully, wherever you are, the weather is gorgeous. Let's get it, Geminis. This reading is for the 6th to the 13th of July. And although these readings are timeless, take what resonates with you. If it doesn't resonate, that's cool, right? I'm speaking to every placement in your birth chart, all 12 houses, sun, moon, rising, Venus, all the placements in your first, second, third, all the way through 12th house. Every part, every crack and crevice of your birth chart, all placements in your birth chart. Let's go. Every word I speak is with love, truth, and good intention. There it is. Let's go. You all are rule third house. Third house is all about communication. In the third house, we develop language and communication skills. Experience of early education belong here, as well as relationships to siblings, cousins, school friends. Your planet here suggests how you develop your ideas and your style of communicating them. And so communication in language. The third house is your territory of mind, indicating how we develop language and our style of communication. Planets here show mental perception and how you express your ideas. Sibling relationships, through sibling relationships, we explore our world and flex our communication skills. Where we fit in sibling tree and how these early peer hierarchies influence us can be shown here, setting a pattern for the way we act later in life. And then short journeys in local environments. And then also that would be here we interact with the area around us, networking and traveling around via our preference form of transportation. In contrast to the ninth house, which we're in the year 9, 2025, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 5 is 9. That house, this is the local world to our doorstep, right? And so early education, also third house. This is the house that describes early education and our approach to gaining knowledge. The school environment moves us into more complex peer environment, and your planets in the third house will show what feelings this invokes, right? Kind of how you learn, right? How you learn, like maybe you learned, on a blackboard where your teacher was standing up against a blackboard. Maybe you learned on one of those old projectors where the teacher put the film across the projector and it projected up on a wall somewhere. Now maybe the kids, maybe you learn with a floppy disk, right? Maybe now the kids have they got Mac computers or whatever in classrooms, or maybe they at home working from home, like they adults. But here we have 1010. I am patient. So keep your thoughts positive and be patient as everything is working out for your highest good. Trust that your angels are working behind the scenes to help you. That's what we are starting out with 1010, just being patient. So two things have come to an end, both in your personal and your professional life. So yeah. All right, let's get into it. Let us get into it, Gemini. It's talking to you wherever Gemini is in your birth chart. The two things have come to an end. So, all right, these cards want to jump out the deck. I saw that. I see this Page of Cups here. So a message about a water sign coming through. A younger person. So you're getting a message coming through. So these cards came out. Somebody was being bullied. Younger person was being bullied. Yeah. Somebody felt like their back was against the wall. And they went right into prayer mode. Because somebody felt like they need earth sign, felt like they needed a whole new lease on life using a younger person. And they felt like there was an Aries and a Leo somehow involved in something. Back in this endeavor up in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So, all right. But somebody that you have in common, somebody that you know, or somebody that you have in common. This is a loved one. And they were trying to speak to you and communicate with you in some kind of code way or something. It may have sounded like they was talking off the top of their head. This is a loved one. that you created some kind of relationship with or some kind of bond or something with. And so when they were talking to you, it sounded like they were playing mind games, but they weren't playing mind games. They were trying to tell you something, right? And so that's where you learn how to be in receiving mode, that they weren't talking for themselves, they were talking for someone else. You know how, like, when a person is talking to you, they don't even sound like themselves. It doesn't even sound like something they would even say. That's when you need to start paying attention. That's when you need to go into prayer warrior mode. Especially if they say something to you that's emotionally immature, that sounds like it's cold. Like if somebody makes a comment, like on your job, about your weight, it has nothing to do with, because I'm seeing this pig with wings here, right? And you know, they're saying something to you that sounds emotionally immature, that it don't even sound like it even makes sense, right? Um, they could be trying to tell you something. They could be talking to you, like telling you something, like it could seem so extreme. You're just like, okay, well, what are they trying to say? Like, what is something going on? And you just going about your day. You're just going with the flow. You're just going with the flow. Just going about your day. Instead of going into prayer mode. So it's saying when your back is against the wall, go into prayer mode. God, give me some clarity. That's the prayer right there. God, thank you for clarity. My back is against the wall. I'm not sure. Somebody pouring out and pouring out. I don't understand. They should just come out and say it. No, they shouldn't. They may not be in a situation where they can come out and say it. That's why they need intercessory prayer. That's why, right? So now that Neptune is retrograde in Aries, Aries being ruled by the Emperor card, which is the God card, they could have been around somebody who feels like it's their way or the highway. So somebody was using a younger person for a whole new lease on life, and they were being bullied. That's what this is in the card. Somebody winning at all costs, master manipulator. That is why interceding on people's behalf. If somebody talked to somebody and found out what was going on, so I found out what was going on to gain some kind of clarity. So, and bam, voila, answers appeared. Meek does not mean weak. Looks like everybody about to be shocked and surprised. Oh my God, I wish somebody had just come out and said something. I wish everybody was just said something and said no. When loved ones are speaking in code, people need to go into prayer mode. That's all it is. People need to go into prayer mode because somebody was being made to feel worthless. There's a somebody has a Taurus moon, and people were being very cold towards them, basically threatening, and they were going to put them out. Somebody has the Taurus moon sign. They're being told they were going to be put out if they didn't do certain things, right? And they were in survival mode. They're not worried about that now. So if they were being told to be cold towards someone, to do something to be cold towards someone because they felt like somebody had depression, they were being manipulated. To bully somebody that they love, use somebody's words against them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Or something was created. Somebody says somebody was running from something. Running from some kind of high-speed chase or lying, and since somebody was running from something, running from no high-speed chase, a team was put together and all this mess. So somebody was saying somebody was behind closed doors doing some kind of sex work or some craziness, some lot in order for them to have a whole new lease on life. And somebody was just telling a bunch of lies about somebody had created this whole narrative around someone's. They were depressed. They were into some kind of sex work. They were doing all this other stuff. They were in survival mode. I mean, just all of this narrative around something. They were running from the law. Here was the Ace of Wands here. All this creativity going on around something that somebody was backing this mess up. And people are now that something is over or wishing in hindsight they just had walked away from something instead of praying ahead of time. Looking at the cards here, a lot of people's prayer life is increasing for several reasons because we have 3 planets in July that go retrograde in Aries, right? Aries is the total recall. It's ruled by the total recall planet, which is Mars. Mars is that prayer warrior. It's that total recall. It's like, okay, people are starting to recall. That's right. I need to pray about things before being impulsively believing things that's being poured through my ear gate and eye gate. When things with technology, right? Like I said in the beginning, people just create stuff. They use their time, their water to create their time, their emotions to create something. So, Two of Wands connects us with an Aries. Somebody did something behind somebody's back. So, the source is saying now your motivation has changed. You're leaving something behind and you have a whole window of opportunity ahead. Something about now you're using your career time to create something going from local to international. In other words, somebody's getting away from gossip, in other words. Somebody saying, okay, I'm getting away from gossip. I don't want to hear about it. Don't be pouring that mess into my mind. I don't want to hear that. Somebody's going to think you're turning your back on them. That's not the case at all. You're finally putting a manhole cover over the past. People create a whole bunch of mess around nothing because somebody walked away from them, didn't want to be bothered. Here we have the Queen of Swords here. So, yeah. Somebody else started fanning the flames behind somebody's back and somebody just went ham. So, yeah. The source is saying to you, now I see you getting more structured and more organized. When people are playing games, for you, you're like, I don't play games. Behind closed doors, it's time to thrive. I don't talk about people behind their back because I know what it feels like. That's you. You've been stabbed in the back yourself. You're like, I don't do that. Say, when if it comes to talking about people behind their back, leave me out of it. I got stuff to do. That's you. You're like, I got work to do. So for you, it looks like somebody could be getting a job where they're working remotely. You could be working remotely. You have to take time to breathe out. If that's the case, you could be in a leadership position, working remotely behind closed doors, finally getting some rest. You and somebody could be finally getting some rest. Being more logical in your thinking as you're continuing to go through your own storms, but just kind of just going through life just in general, but thriving. Looking at your cards here. Yeah, but I'm seeing movement here. Meaning your auric layers. Like if somebody is doing more to just kind of sort of like cleansing auric layers. Somebody may be getting out a little bit more, getting out in the sun a little bit more, taking some more action to get out in the sun. Doing spiritual cleansing, something like that. All right. Outrageous openness. So, dear love, open me up to your will. Release me from my attachments. Surprise and delight me with your plan. You know what I need, and I'm open to receive. All right, that's it. Sending you lots of living light a week. And that's what I have for you. All right, bye.